been very low
Oh
because
my
we
God.
were dominant. We were becoming, I call it energy dominance. We were dominant
Oh
in
my
energy
God.
and getting more so by the
Oh,
day.
we have to watch
Well,
this.
why
We're
wouldn't
interrupting
they
this
ban war because you
broadcast.
were in office?
Folks, we are interrupting this broadcast for a very special report. The Nelk boys of the Full Send fame have gotten Donald Trump on their podcast talking about Russia and Ukraine, talking about the top of the hour ad break.
Thing about it. Under Bush, they took over Georgia. And I don't mean Georgia that we all know and love. I mean the other Georgia. And they took that over.
Which we
and
don't
they took
love.
It over
We don't
very
love that
easily without
Georgia.
any
They're brown.
repercussions very, very easily. And now they're taking over the whole ball of wax under Biden. And it's really a disgraceful situation. It would have never happened. And we did talk about it. I mean, he definitely wanted Ukraine, loved Ukraine, would never have happened.
What do you see happening next then? Because it seems like the tensions are high. How does this all end? Is this going to be like a long-term thing? How do you see it unfolding?
Well, and I said this a long time ago, if this happens, we are playing right into their hands, green energy.
Folks, many people
The windmills,
think,
they don't work.
oh, green energy is
They're too
into their
expensive.
hands.
They kill all the birds. They ruin your landscapes. And yet the
Oh,
environmentalists
no.
love the windmills. And I've been preaching this for years. The windmills, and I had them way down.
Hell yeah, brother.
But the windmills are the most expensive energy you can have. And they don't work. And by the way, they last a period of 10 years. And by the time they start rusting and rotting all over the place, nobody ever takes them down. They just go onto the next piece of prairie or land and destroy that. It's incredible that they want, but other forms of green energy, they don't have the power to power our factories. They're extremely expensive. And I preached loud and
Bro, he
clear
looks
to
good.
Angela Merkel, you are making a
Am I
tremendous
crazy?
deal by making
Am I
this
crazy
deal
to
with
say
Russia
that he looks good?
with
Like, he looks
Nord Stream
healthy,
2.
dude.
And until I came along, nobody knew what Nord Stream 2 was, and you guys know that. I was telling her loud and clear and publicly.
This man's going to be the next
And in
president.
fact, I
dude.
sent her something as a little gift. It was a white flag. It was a flag of surrender. She said, but what is this? I said, that's a flag of surrender. So that when Russia gets hostile, which they have, I mean, if you look at a history of a couple of hundred years with Germany and Russia, has not been exactly pretty, whether it's World War I, World War II. Take a look at what's gone on. I sent her the white flag of surrender.
Wait, what she
of
mean?
their
World
energy,
War
and
I and
told her
World
that.
War II.
And
Germany's
they wrote
position in
articles
World
about
War
it
I
2
and
years
World
ago.
War
You
II
should
wasn't
look at those
exactly,
articles. I
you
was
know,
exactly
nice
right.
to the United
I
States.
said, Russia has you in a position that you've never been in before if you do this deal. It's insane to do this deal. What are you doing? In the meantime, they closed down all of their plants. They closed down their nuclear, which even the environmentalists like nuclear, whether you like it or not. I understand both versions very strongly.
Oh, Trump just
But
won the nuke boys in the
environmentally,
chat.
It's probably
Nelk
the
boys
best
more
thing. They
like
closed
nuke
down their
boys.
nuclear plants, and they're reliant. And I will say almost entirely, if this thing ever played out, Germany is reliant on Nord Stream 2, the pipeline. And I sent her the white flag of surrender. That's what, and it's turned out to be true. Nobody brings this up because the press never likes to talk about it. But nobody brings this up.
That's not
But I
true.
said,
Mr. Trump, President Trump, I brought it
one of
up,
the
sir.
dumbest deals ever made.
I brought it up, sir. I brought it up. I
You know.
said that you sanctioned them.
So now I hear that we're going to make a deal
Yo,
with
maybe I can get an
Venezuela
interview with him too, dude.
to get some of their oil capacity.
I'm gonna start sucking
And we're
off.
gonna make a
I'm
deal
gonna
with
start sucking
Iran.
him off.
That wants to build a nuclear weapon. I ended the Iran deal. They never would have had it. We would have had a deal 1 week after the election. We would have had a deal with Iran, a really great deal. Because I told China, you can't buy, if you buy oil from Iran, there's no more business at all to be done with the United States. And they didn't. They bought very little. And Iran wanted to make a deal. Now
Not
China's
you trying to
buying
platform this monster. You mean the previous president of the United States of America? Did you just say I would platform Trump? Dude, liberals are so brain broken.
Obama.
I swear to God.
They have forced Russia and China together. They are now wonderful partners. And add one third country to it, Iran. So they now have Russia, Iran, and China. They have forced them together with their stupid foreign policy. And there's never been anything like it. These people are incompetent, and the media is allowing it to happen. The media is trying to say, oh, isn't this wonderful? This is so great. They
Wait,
don't
what?
say.
No one is saying
we have
that.
a world now that's more
Who's
dangerous
saying
than ever
that?
before. The incompetence of Obama and the incompetence of Biden has forced Russia, think of it, Russia and China, from the time you're young people, you read that's the one you don't want to ever force. And they were natural enemies because of their border. You never want to force them together. They've been forced together. And now you add Iran because they're in the group
Trump's
too.
take on the Sino-Soviet split.
That's very lethal.
Donald, does it suck that,
You know-
like, because does it suck that you can't say these things because of big tech like censoring you and stuff like that? How much does that bother
Such
you?
a great question.
They're not following the Marxist-Leninist
They-
principles.
The press in our country, the
Theoretic,
media is
the
very
theory is not there. Their
Unbelievable.
application of
If
Marxist-Leninist
we talk
principles are
about
not
the
there.
Election fraud, they will not
Believe
cover it.
me,
3 days ago, Wisconsin came out.
de-Stalinization was a mistake. Believe me.
So much fraud and irregularities. Really big stuff. They all say the big lie, the big lie. But the big lie. They
Oh,
should
this is
probably
boring.
be
No, no,
sued
no.
for
Go back to
libel for
Russia.
saying it
Go back to
because
Russia.
You can go into all of the swing states and beyond, but all of the swing states.
You're such a
and you will
fucking
see-
loser, dude. Oh God, I hate it when he just like can't shut the fuck up about election fraud. He is such a little fucking loser, dude. Would you suck him like Putin? I'd suck him without anything, dude. He's got the biggest pussy in the game. Who says Biden and Trump don't have things in common? They both war criminals. They both have Alzheimer's. I mean, that's like every American president after a certain age group. It's just like the whole like you know, fucking I didn't
Folks,
lose.
Joe
Stop
Biden
the
is
count.
close
Like it's just
and
like shut up,
fabulous.
bitch. No one
Believe
cares.
me.
Like you're fucking loser. Shut the fuck up.
What was that call like when you got that call when you were finally when you got that call when you were banned from Twitter? Who gave you that call that said you're no longer allowed?
Well, I don't want to get into it because it's going to end up in litigation. But they banned the president of the United States
Yeah.
for saying things like I'm saying right now. Good things. Our country would be a lot stronger. They have taken our country to a level of lowness like it's never.
Yeah, that's
seen
why they
before.
banned you.
We are
Bro,
disrespected. We're
remember
laughed
when
at
Trump literally said the American state was going to do terror by destroying cultural landmarks? Like, just terror is a political terminology, but there's like one area of terrorism that is very cut and dry, very black and white, and that is we will destroy your cultural landmarks. That's like ISIS shit, right? And Donald Trump literally tweeted that and didn't get banned, okay? So clearly they gave him a lot of leeway until it got to a point where he was like actively and deliberately pushing for the continuation of January 6th riots, okay? Like the insurrection. God, I miss his tweets so much, though. Connor, best line in Elizabeth Warren's beer catastrophe is to her husband. Thank you for being here. I'm glad you're here. It's their house. He's supposed to be there. So good, dude. So fucking good. I'm following this account. I love old Trump tweets. Warren, 1/20/20th. Oh, God, he was such a good poster. That's the dude who literally moans in people's ears interviewing the former president of the free world. Yeah, the free world.
They're angry about a lot of things. They're going to be really angry when they start paying 3 times more for their gasoline.
But the question is, Don, are you coming? I mean, I don't mean to.
Don,
I think
yeah.
you've hinted at it. Are you coming back and going to run for president of the United States?
Don,
Well,
you
know,
come
the
back and
campaign
what,
finance laws
dude?
don't really allow you to discuss that unless you're going to literally go through a different process. So I think a lot of people are going to be really happy. You guys might be really happy, but
No, we're gonna be
I
happy.
think a lot of people are going to be very happy. But I'll
How
wait.
so? What do you
I'll
mean by
after.
that?
Well, I'll wait till I have so many people wanting me to do it. I think.
By the way, the Nelk boys are 1,000% in line with my theory of Canada, which is Canada only either sends their very best, okay, or their absolute fucking worst. Like
19 months
nothing in
ago, I was
between.
lot more
And the
hopeful,
Nelk boys
also.
obviously are their absolute fucking worst. So it also corresponds to Felix Biederman's theory of the Canadian mind, okay, Canadian mindset, Alpha Canada mindset, which is Canadians are either like chill as fuck or they just are
I legit
so
got laid because of
fucking
you.
bent
Ty.
that they're not American, so they have to be as yee as possible and act like as Americanized and as hog-like as possible, when in fact it's just like a, North American European state, okay? Chill. It's just like It's a European state in North America. That's what it is.
Barrel was down to 30 and even less than that. Actually, we had so much energy that for a period of time, if you took the oil, take a barrel of oil, they'll give you $36 along with that. In other words, now this was no good for Wall Street because they don't do that. They just do paper. They would have had to take, we had so much that if you take the oil, so you get a barrel of oil, here's 37. You remember that little period of time?
Yeah, simplify everything for our audience today. Simplify everything, right?
Right.
Yeah,
No,
not
no,
for
no,
my
no,
audience,
well,
not
that's
for
what
me.
he
I,
said.
I wasn't calling
understand.
it
I got
audience.
alpha
I'm saying, I just wanna,
brain.
like,
The best. We had so much. But
Did he
the
just
energy
dab
was
him?
down
No, that's
so
true.
well. And we filled up the strategic national reserve, 75 million barrels. Hadn't been filled for close to 50 years, they say. And I filled it up because the energy was so cheap. The oil was so cheap. I filled it. We have strategic reserves that we need in case of emergencies. And these are these massive salt caves under Louisiana and various other places. And I said, tell me about that. And they told me about it. I said, because we could make a good deal today on energy. I said, tell me about it. I said, good. And we filled it up with very inexpensive. And 3 days ago, Biden announced that he's going to take that oil and put it out into the market so that people will be able to get a little bit less than $5 or whatever it may be. But as great an achievement as that was, it's peanuts compared to the overall. I mean, it's like 1 day's worth of energy. But I fill up the strategic national reserves for the right price, okay? When it was low, we got it filled. And it was a good thing, and good for the companies, good for everything. And now they take it out because Biden wants to look better politically by having a little bit lower price. But it's not going to be a little bit lower. The energy, the cost for gasoline, your heating costs, you know, the highest anywhere in the country is in Massachusetts and in, you know, certain places on the East Coast. You know who supplies it for the most part? Russia. Russia is supplying oil on the East Coast of our country. And
What?
they have by the way, they have the highest energy costs in the country.
What?
Interesting. Donnie, I wonder, interesting.
It is sort of interesting.
Well, I'm just saying, no.
So crazy.
What it is
Wow, Donnie doesn't even respond to the brown
is
one.
just amazing. And what I try and do is obviously, I asked
Donnie does not care about the brown co-host.
In my
He's
mind,
like, you're not here.
right, I'm
Don't
always
talk
like,
to me.
Hey, could this thing ever?
I
lead
did
to
the
a
Muslim
nuclear
ban.
fallout? Could this ever
Yeah.
be nuclear war?
I did
What
the
is your
Muslim
take
ban.
on-
We should have implemented it for Canada
For a US
too.
citizen right now
Yeah.
that's watching
Well, you
this
should be
unfold.
scared.
I'm
Because
gonna
we have
full send you
incompetent
back to
people
your country.
heading up our country who, frankly, got there through a fraudulent election.
But regardless
You
of
should be-
incompetent, regardless of incompetent people,
Yeah.
immediate threat. How serious is the threat of nuclear
I
warfare?
think it's serious. I think it's serious. I saw Biden the other day saying, we don't want to fight Russia. They're a nuclear power. We don't want to fight Russia. They're a nuclear power. They're a nuclear power. And I'm saying to myself, it's such a signal of weakness. Now, is it correct? Yes, they are a nuclear power, but so are we. You know, I rebuilt our nuclear arsenal. It's bigger and better and stronger than ever before. We had to renew things that were 40 and 45 years old. I didn't want to do it, but we had to do it because we had no choice. I wish I
Recognizing
didn't
that
have to
Russia
spend
is a
that money.
nuclear power is
But
a
we had to
signal
do
of
it because
weakness.
we had no choice. But not only did I rebuild our whole military, $2.5 trillion
Listen,
during a very
if you
short
close
period
your
of time,
eyes and don't believe they're a nuclear power, then
Yes.
you win
That your
because their
fathers
nukes
would've-
can't hurt you.
if they were in the Air Force, they were, and in some cases, your grandfathers.
Right.
We had old bombers, old fighters. We have a brand new military. We spent $2.5 trillion on our military. We have a beautiful military. One of the reasons that the incompetence of Afghanistan, the way they got out, is because we have a great military. You know, I took down ISIS, 100% of ISIS, and we used generals, great generals. We have great generals other than the guys that you see on television who are incompetent. But we have great generals. We have generals that I dealt with that we took out 100% of ISIS in a very short period of time. And everybody actually admits that. They don't want to talk about it. But we have a great military, but we look incompetent. And it's a sad day for our military, and it's a sad day for our country. And yes, you do have a chance of World War III because our country is not respected any longer. And sometimes through this incredible...
How do we gain that respect, though? How do we gain that respect with everything in place right now? Biden's in office. We can't change that, right?
Yeah.
How do we gain that respect right now?
It starts with the president. You have to have a president that commands the respect. Look, the European nations, they're friends of mine. And they smile when I talk to them privately. They've been ripping us off for years.
What the
on trade.
fuck?
How many cars is Germany selling from
I'm losing
America?
it.
How
I'm
many
losing my
Chevrolets
mind.
are in the middle of Berlin? Would you say 2? Because you'd
It's
be
so
wrong, because you're
good.
none. All right?
They love me. They're friends of
cars-
mine.
And yet we sell their Mercedes, we sell their BMWs, we sell their Volkswagens, we sell... But if you try and sell cars in Germany, if you try and sell cars in Europe, it's almost impossible to do. They were all ripping us off. Not only China. China was ripping us off the most. We had with China a deficit of $507 billion a year.
I don't remember if we discussed this on the stream or not, but didn't we have a deal with Japan? Because, well, here, no one likes our cars for the most part because our cars, unfortunately, are not that good, okay? I'm Middle Eastern. I'm Turkish. I love American vehicles because of, like, this weird, attitude that we have in America or towards American cars. But NA cars, by and large, are kind of trash. Historically, it's gotten better now. But Japan had a deal where they literally dumped pickup trucks into the ocean, right? Where, like, they had a deal where they had to purchase American cars. But because they did not want the American cars, they purchased it and dumped it into the fucking ocean.
Obama's phone calls, wouldn't take any meetings with him, wouldn't do anything. And then I started with him, and it was very hostile for about a month, if you remember. Then all of a sudden, we met, we got along. We had no problem with North Korea. Now they're acting up again. And they're acting up again when they see the stupidity of our country. But be careful when Germany announces that they're going to start pouring the big money into the military. And so now you have Japan and Germany rebuilding again.
What's that first call like, Mr. Trump, with when you try to get a hold of Kim Jong-un? Like,
Well,
how does that happen?
He actually called me, and we did get along.
Like, that's crazy.
I'm sorry to be
No.
laughing.
I mean,
No,
you're the
but
first
Kim Jong-un
president to
was-
meet with
I
a
am.
North
I was
Korean
the
leader,
first
right?
one. Yeah.
So what's that first? So he called you.
And we got along very well. I understood him.
What's
and-
like the first call? Is he say like, "Hey, what's up, Mr.
Well, I
Trump?"
didn't.
Or, like,
It wasn't a call. We got
16
through
months
people.
hassle.
A meeting was set up in Singapore, and then in Vietnam, we had 2 meetings. But we didn't have the problem that the Democrats would have had. They would have had a nuclear war with North Korea. I have no doubt about it. Kim Jong-un wanted nothing to do with them. This is years now. We would have had
3
a
months.
nuclear war with North Korea. Who's coughing back there? Are you okay? Is that your crew?
That's
The
Oh,
media
that's-
will say Trump's
Mr.
coughing. There
Mr.
must
Trump.
be something wrong with him.
we run a pretty,
COVID's going around in
we run a
Mar-a-Lago.
little
There's
pretty
COVID.
laid back.
There's
COVID on
COVID.
Mar-a-Lago.
We run a pretty laid back thing. We're all good. We're all good.
But-
So continue
but-
on.
What does
But
that
let me
mean?
just say,
What does that mean? We
would
run a
have had
laid
war
back
with
thing. It's all
North
good.
Korea is a major nuclear power.
Mm-hmm.
But I hate hearing Biden say, no, we don't want anything to do with Russia. They're a nuclear power, but so are we. And we're a bigger nuclear power. And we have brand new, because of me, nuclear weapons that we didn't have. And we have renovated weapons that were very old. And now they're renovated. And we never want to use them. And by the way, you know how you're not going to use them? By having them. If you didn't have them, we would have big problems. But we have them. But Biden shouldn't be talking the way he's talking,
State
because
is
he's playing
half
right
an hour.
into Putin's hands. Putin, I've never heard this from a leader outside of Kim Jong-un, I guess, to a large extent. But Putin now talks about his nuclear capability.
Bro, let's go. HasanAbi Doctrine is literally alive right
You
now.
do or the no-fly zone, you do this. We're a nuclear country. And Biden's saying they're a nuclear country.
The HasanAbi Doctrine, baby.
It's so weak.
Let's
It's
go.
saying Such a bad
Would you
thing.
have a no-fly
And I have
zone?
to say this. The
Oh,
the
I want to see
bombing
what he
of
says
these
about the no-fly
cities
zone. Ooh, exciting.
indiscriminately, the bombing of these cities and the killing of all these people is a tragedy. This is a tragedy like I don't think we've witnessed since World War II.
No, it's crazy what's going on.
No, they're bombing. You know, in Florida, we're in Florida, you had a building collapse in Florida on the beach, as you know, through bad structural engineering or rust or something. A lot of people were
At
killed in that
HasanAbi, can we
building.
look at a map of gas prices
He's
around
bombing
the
much
US
bigger
and see where
buildings,
is the most expensive?
And they're collapsing.
I'm still shook
And
from
then they
him saying
say,
the Northeast in Boston
You see
pays
this
the most
massive
for
building
gas.
coming down all over the place. People are in that building. But you see the building come down, and then they say 2 people were hurt. No. When a building like that comes down, many people die. It's not 2 people are hurt. But
What?
they're coming down all over, and they're being blown to pieces. And so we had a case in Florida, as you know, on the shore where a building collapsed for totally different reasons, but it collapsed. Well, buildings are collapsing now in Ukraine, and they're
Yeah, dude, there's a difference between evacuated cities and emptied out buildings being shelled and like a fucking random building collapse in the middle of fucking Florida, dude.
taking over.
What the fuck?
Depending on what
Yo,
your
what is he
definition
trying to
is,
imply
because,
right now? What the
potentially millions of
fuck?
people are going to die, and it could lead to third world war. By the way, it could lead to a third world war. I think
crazy.
I think what is going on now is a direct reflection on the Obama administration.
Yeah, the
because it
difference
should
is
have never
the Florida building collapsed when there was people in it because they didn't know it was supposed to.
What happened with
Whereas,
Joe Rogan, right? It's a hard
you know,
thing.
the
Being
buildings that are being
called
bombed are
racist
largely
and everything
empty.
like that. I wonder, what's your reaction to when someone calls you a racist? Like, what's your like initial reaction?
Well,
to
it
that?
used to be a terrible reaction, but now it's everybody's called a racist today.
Yeah.
Anybody that's the enemy of the other side. People that are the exact opposite of racist are called racists. And it's a very hurtful word, but it's lost a lot of its meaning because everybody is being called a racist today by the radical left, when actually they're the racists.
I love it. I love
They're
it.
really
I'm
the
a
racists in the
racist,
truest
they
sense
say.
of the word. So, you know, they call Joe Rogan, they call anybody they disagree with a racist. So it tends to lose its meaning. And the people get it, you know, with the black community, my vote was so much higher than in the past with other Republicans. But with the Hispanic community, they don't want to write about it, but the Hispanics, the vote was so incredible. You know, along the Texas border. The other night in Texas, I endorsed 33 candidates, and every single one of them won the election. There were a couple of runoffs, but they're all leading substantially. You have, I think, 3 runoffs, but they're all leading substantially. They'll win in the next 2 months. But we were 33-0. I didn't see any stories about it. I see no stories about it
Why do you think that is?
because the press is corrupt. They're dishonest. They don't want to say anything good
Is it all
Trump.
about? Is it all about money though? Because I feel like they don't. I don't feel like it's not actually about their morals. I feel like it's just about money.
I don't think it's
Correct?
money. I think it's a combinations. It's money and power
like-
and something. It's something. They're sick.
I mean, something we deal with too is like we have our page and we're kind of controversial with the stuff we do. So we face a lot of censorship too, like something we all deal with. Our Instagram page got taken down and they actually sent us a notice because it was too political, our Full Send Instagram page. And we were just
Dog, what the fuck is he talking about? I get banned more than these fucking dickheads do, man. Holy shit, this shit pisses me off so much. I'm fucking black. I'm blacklisted on Instagram as well, okay? I got the sex worker treatment on Instagram. You can't find my fucking page anymore unless you like literally write the entire
Happy 11
username.
hassle.
And it happens. You're what? Okay, guys, stop. I'm I said I'm fucking black instead of saying I'm fucking blacklisted. Okay, I shouldn't have paused there. Clipped and shipped.
Don't
Oh
know.
my
I'd have to ask
god.
my people.
Not biased in
Good.
any way, shape, or form.
Good.
We like to sit down with people that are involved in really big things that are happening in the world today.
But the other side wouldn't sit down.
The other side has not showed us respect like you guys have, which is amazing.
They
That's the difference.
Dude, you're the Nelk boys. What the fuck do you mean? Of course they don't show you respect. The reality, though, is that I could have a much easier time getting Republican politicians on this broadcast than a single fucking Democrat. 1,000,000%. That is true. Republicans are fucking media demons. They don't give a fuck. Madison Cawthorn literally DM'd me personally from his Instagram to come on the fucking stream like a couple months ago. I could probably still have him on in any way, shape, or form. Whereas Nancy Pelosi or the equivalent of like Madison Cawthorn on the Democratic side, unless we're talking about like AOC or Ilhan Omar, who are, you know, friends and fans of the show, that's different. Like, there's no fucking way would they ever in a million years, a Democrat would not come on to this fucking broadcast unless it's like someone in a lower tier, you know, running for like a local position or some shit like that. Because they don't need to. They got MSNBC. Why the fuck would they try to, you know, put themselves in a compromised position where someone says where the carefully crafted image of being like super progressive is destroyed by some fucking dickhead 30-year-old wearing a stupid beanie that looks like a penis on Twitch.
Likewise, nobody's ever
Once
been
the
treated
F10
as
I
badly
suffered
as I
from
have
on
by
mobile.
the fake news media, by, you know, everything. And we do our own fighting.
The White
back
House
and all,
literally
but,
blocked.
I mean, if you look at their approval
This
rating,
is real shit. The White House literally blocked Anthony Fauci from coming on to my Twitch broadcast when they were doing partnerships. When they were doing partnerships with Twitch streamers, when Anthony Fauci went on a bunch of the different Twitch shows and YouTube and stuff, the White House was like, no, we're not doing that. Actually, which is why none of you fucking heard that Anthony Fauci was on Twitch. Most of you didn't even know he went on Twitch. Did you? Probably not. You didn't.
They did have one story about that today, very interesting. I told her you're making a terrible I used to fight with her over it, the pipeline, because I said they own your country once you
No, during Biden.
But we're now
Fauci
forcing
during
Germany
Biden would
and
not come
Japan to become major powers militarily. And there are a lot of people, including me, that say that might not be a very good idea. Be careful what you wish for. And with that, it's been a great honor.
One more thing. I heard you're becoming quite the DJ here.
I love music. I have an aptitude for music.
What type
Can
of
you
music?
believe it?
Oh, is it
During,
aptitude for
you know,
music?
over our lives, we take tests and aptitude
Mitski.
tests and all this.
I like
I've always had a
Mitski.
high
Charlie
aptitude for music,
XCX.
but I
Very
love
good
great
music. I listen to 100
So do you
gex
actually
sometimes.
spin, or
no,
do you,
I don't spin,
what do you
but
use?
I pick the ones I like.
What's your like go-to banger on the
Well, I have a
aux?
lot of them.
Let's go,
You know a
Brandon.
song that does get people moving, though? You know, I'll play beautiful,
I might vote for Donald Trump by JPEG Mafia.
Family
Very
Album,
good.
Les Mis, etc. You know what gets
He's
them
going to
up?
say, I'm a drainer, Blady till I die. I'm a drainer. That boy, he does better rap
It's an underrated
than
track.
every
You know,
American.
is it an underrated?
I think so.
Well, it gets a lot of views, I can say. But YMCA, the gay national anthem, did you ever hear that? They call it the gay national anthem. But YMCA gets people up and it gets them moving. But we have a lot of good selections. And people love it when I do it.
What's the best
I'm
song to like
losing it!
transition to? Like YMCA to what?
Maybe,
Yo,
Like
this
maybe
guy
Mo
was the
Bamba?
president.
maybe
dude.
Hold
14
On,
months.
I'm Coming.
All you will watch.
Well, you know, we just have a good time. Actually, we have great people. There's been a tremendous place, Mar-a-Lago. It's a private club. It's been an amazing place.
What's your handicap right now in golf? Because I'm a big time golfer.
Yeah, I've been a very successful golfer over the years. You know,
yeah.
I don't play as much as you really should play if you want to become top, but I've been a very successful. I've won many club championships, which is hard to do. That's
Yeah.
our major. They asked
Oh,
Gary
my.
Player the other night. They said, "Who's the best player? How many presidents have you played with?" He said, "I played with 7. Who's the best player? Trump by far." He said, "He's at least 20 or 25 strokes better than anybody else."
Really?
And I said, "Gary, isn't it more than that?" But that's a big statement. But Gary Player is a great legendary golfer, as you know. But they asked him that question, and he said, "Trump by
By the
far."
way, Donald
you like a
Trump
shit talk-
definitely did play golf a lot more than any other president in history. Like, that is literally insane to say that he wasn't playing enough. Like,
And all the
no,
talk
you
is no
definitely
good. In
played a
fact,
lot of
yeah.
golf, dog.
So-
like, not to be too much of a, I know it's like a lip take to be like, he played so much golf, but like he literally
Do you
did.
want to say